This is the weekend edition of Fear and Greed, Australia's most popular business podcast. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael. You well? You fired up, ready for a very, very competitive set of stories?
Oh, I am primed for this competition. I am, and you know why I'm particularly excited today, Sean?
Why is that?
Because we've had a few weeks off. We are back with our adjudicator, our Fear and Greed colleague, Adam Lang. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Michael. Pre-season is over. The game is on.
This is it. This is the big one. So what we're looking for today is, I say that like it's something different. No, this is the same thing that we're looking for every week. The biggest story of the week, the most remarkable story, the sleeper story, and our favorite story. And Sean, there's some good stories around this week, and I can say up front, I am pretty confident.
Fair enough. Release the hounds.
That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Haven't got much fight in you, Aylmer. Let's do this. Biggest story for me this week. I'm going to go first.
Yeah, you always complain that I go first, so you go first.
I'm going to go first because there was a lot to choose from, but really there was just one that just rose above the rest of the stories, like a volcano rising from the sea. It was
from the sea. They're normally on land volcanoes. Well, no, actually, that's not true. But
what do you think Hawaii is? Goodness me.
Yeah.
Okay. From Hawaii and volcanoes to the Jobs and Skills Summit in Canberra. So I went for this story because this has the potential to change the way that we work in this country. The Jobs and Skills Summit, Thursday, Friday in Canberra, it was, I would say, more than just your kind of average, your ordinary talk fest. 142 participants covering kind of business, unions, politics, community groups, subject matter experts, all in a room discussing some of the really big issues in terms of how we lift wages, how we improve productivity, reducing skills shortages, and reforming the industrial relations system. And that one is particularly sticky. But this time, things seem different. Because all the players went into it, it seemed, with what almost looked like a willingness to talk and even make deals, which is kind of almost a novel thing in Canberra these days. They were even already agreeing to things before the summit started. And of course, it's going to take more than a communique to bring about meaningful change, but work is starting pretty much straight away to cement some of these outcomes, like the major adjustments to the Fair Work Act. We've got an increase to the migration cap, free TAFE places, a lot of kind of individual measures. So because of the impact on so many workers in this country, the way we work, the way we earn money, the way we live, I'd say it's the biggest story of the week.
Has anything happened yet?
A summit has.
Like, do the workers, do the people, have they had their lives changed yet?
Oh, you know what? Can I just suggest, bring your story forward and use the strength of your story to demolish mine rather than just be the Sean nitpicker Aylmer. Go for it.
Undoubtedly, the biggest story of the week was this Jobs and Skills Summit for the media, for the politicians. But what about ordinary people? What about investors? It's earnings season. Michael, you carry on about being a man of the people. Not this week, you're not. You're talking about something that's going on, some gab fest in Canberra. Forget it. Earnings season ended. Things look okay, but not great. We found out companies with pricing power will do best. You know what we found out? We found out that iceberg lettuces are back down to less than $3 a pop and avocados are under $1. We found out that Qantas airfares are unlikely to fall anytime soon. We found out that pre-mixed drinks are selling well because increasingly people are entertaining at home. We found out that people are buying pork mince more than they're buying mince nowadays. And we found out that Botox boomed during the pandemic. We found out that the coal companies are making a ton of money and expect it to continue. We found out the supply chain issues are easing, meaning second-hand cars will lessen in price. This is the stuff that matters to real people, Michael, not a bunch of pollies and business leaders and unionists rabbiting on in Canberra. Easily the biggest story of the week.
Time out. Look, I just got to supply a quick note to the adjudicator, Adam. The lettuce was 11 days ago. Qantas was 8 days ago. The coal was 9 days ago. I've been doing some furious research here. So technically, I think we can disqualify half of Sean's story.
Oh, so you sound very defensive, don't you?
I have to be.
It's interesting.
I have to be. So
I didn't know we were introducing a right of reply section, Michael.
I didn't either.
No. That was just like
This could be a long, long podcast.
just a little bit of supplementary information.
So, very interesting battle between Michael, Jobs and Skills Summit, hopefully looking forward, and earnings season looking back. Really tough battle. I'm going to give this one to Sean. Reason being that the cost of living impacts on people as they're looking back, people eating at home more. I think that is really important for what we're actually doing now and going forward. And I think that is having real impact on the economy. I would love to be an optimist and think the Jobs and Skills Summit will be meaningful, but that is yet to be proven. So I'm giving this one to Sean.
So what you're hearing there, you're hearing stunned silence there, Adam.
I think you are a wonderful person, Adam. That's all I can say. A man of the people, unlike the Difference Thompson, who gabfest.
You know what? I'm going to go first again. Can I?
Yeah, sure. Go
most
for it.
remarkable. I'm just going to keep on hammering you with my stories until I find a winner. The most remarkable this week. Like you hear that little puff just then was the fighting spirit leaving me.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone first, Michael.
No, I will never give up. The most remarkable story this week was the drop in house prices that we found out from August. We know the decline has been steep, but it's just getting worse. And in fact, in August, it was the biggest monthly drop in 39 years. That is nearly 4 decades. Now, this is happening pretty much everywhere except Darwin, basically, right around the country. Brisbane only just peaked 2 months ago. Now it's already gone into reverse and seriously into reverse, losing 1.8% last month. That's the second worst result for any capital city for August, behind only Sydney, which dropped 2.3%. Sydney's house prices have now fallen by 7%. Gareth Aird from Commonwealth Bank says that's enough to qualify as a collapse. So that is big. The only thing that goes against me on this story, and I should not be conceding this, and even as I say those words.
This is a very, very odd Week in Review edition. I'd just like to point that out. Go on, Michael. What's going against you?
The fact that you might argue, Sean, that there's plenty of room to move, that the property market gained 29% between September 2020 and April this year. And clearly, I think we'll all acknowledge that homeowners are better off than they were pre-pandemic. But they still wouldn't like to see the biggest monthly drop in 39 years. That's not good for confidence. And you show me a person in this country not interested in house prices.
Oh, man of the people. He's back.
That's right. I am back. I'm speaking on behalf of everybody right now, whether they've got a mortgage, whether they are trying to get into the market, or whether they've paid off their house and now that the value of that property is making up the bulk of their wealth and they're just enjoying their retirement, knowing that they are safe in that house that is now declining in value. Most remarkable story by a considerable margin. Sean.
Do you live in Sydney, Michael?
Perhaps.
So, with apologies to everyone who lives in Sydney who seems to be absolutely obsessed by house prices, schmouse prices. Oh, so old, so boring. Last decade's news. You know, the most remarkable story this week is about the future. It's about the new world, Michael. It's about the world of electric vehicles. Scientists sponsored by the US Department of Energy say they've designed a super fast method to replenish the batteries of electric cars. Less than 10 minutes. Now that's remarkable. One of the major drawbacks of an EV, of course, and hindrance to sales, is how long it takes to recharge. But this could come down to about the same time as filling up the tank. At least under this new technology, it can. They achieved a 90% charge in less than 10 minutes. Now, fast chargers take somewhere between 20 minutes and an hour. So, in terms of the most remarkable story, that's the definition here, new technology that could boost EV sales, recharging, that's remarkable.
Sean, I think you asked me a question after the last category was, has it happened yet?
No, but the technology has been discovered this week.
Just as the Jobs Summit was held this week. But as you say, the technology won't be available for the people, and I'm speaking for the people, for many years to come. Adam, do you agree with me?
I'm feeling superfluous to the contest between the two of you.
Oh, is Adam here? Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were there.
So again, looking forward, looking back, Michael, you win this one. The impact of property and those huge price changes in the last few years, and they do impact the economy very broadly. Thank you for your feedback, Sean. So Michael wins this one, but the fast charging battery story is magnificent. I really do hope it comes true.
All right. We'll be back in a moment with the sleeper story of the week. All right, Sean, Adam, we are looking now for the sleeper story of the week. So maybe the one that's perhaps not getting the attention that it deserves, or that's going to become a bigger story further down the track. Sean, I want you to go first this time because
generous.
I don't actually quite know whether mine is a sleeper story. So I just want you to go first.
See if you can.
Yeah.
Look, I'm carrying on my theme of being interested in what the listeners want, what the people want. My sleeper story comes from the banking regulator, APRA. Now, I know there's a little irony that I'm talking about the people and the banking regulator, APRA. However, stay with me.
Especially from the person who was yawning about 30 seconds ago, but please go on.
Look, last year, APRA introduced a MySuper performance test. It assesses default super products, they're the ones that employees are put into when they don't nominate anything, against two things, investment performance and fees and costs. Now, if you underperform on those two things, investment and fees and costs, for 2 years in a row, then you're banned from taking new money. 5 failed this year, and for 4 of them, it was the second year in a row. The biggest was the BT Super Retirement Wrap product. Why is that a sleeper? Because APRA's goal of making super funds more efficient is working after just 2 years. No one is talking about that. 96% of member accounts are now performing. Amazing. That covers 13 million members. And thanks in large part to the MySuper test, 5 million MySuper members now pay lower fees. This is a sleeper story with punch. It's got financial implications. It really does make the super industry more efficient, and no one's talking about it. Great sleeper story. Michael.
That is actually quite good. Well, mine is what's happening with the Future Fund, because of course, the Future Fund being the sovereign wealth fund that we all own. And this week we found out that it dropped back below $200 billion because of falling investment markets. Why is it a sleeper story?
Yes, that's a question I want answered so far.
It's a question that I had to ask myself as well. And there are 2 reasons. Number one, because I got a little drowned out this week with a combination of earnings season, which was the second biggest story of the week, and the Jobs and Skills Summit, which was the biggest story of the week, and also house prices as well, and a few other things. So that was one reason why I got drowned out. The other reason was because why it's a sleeper story is because this feels like such a stretch. But anyway, the Future Fund only dropped by 1.2%, which means that it performed a lot better than global stocks and bonds, which kind of lost more than 10%, local shares, which dropped 6.5% for the year. Clearly, the alternative investments, things like infrastructure and the like, are paying off for the Future Fund. We all benefit from that. I just think it deserved more attention. I just think that's a really interesting story, and we just didn't talk about it enough. Maybe?
Let's just go to the adjudicator on this one.
Sean wins. The Future Fund is interesting, very, and a sleeper, but in terms of the impact, and everyone who's worked has super. And so the impact of this on clearing out the bottom performers will have impact all the way through the superannuation industry. So I think it's a great story. And Sean, you win on Sleeper Story of the Week.
Do you think, Adam, you've ever heard Michael concede through a story consistently as much as he did in that one?
Well, the best part for me then was the fact that Adam did agree that it was a sleeper story. That's all I needed.
You qualified for entry. Well done.
You know, there's a point system here, though. There's a point system. You're not going to score big on that one, Michael.
I might.
You know
I might.
Oh, you might. Yeah, no, that's true. Sorry, I take that back, Adam. Your points.
Thank you.
Favourite story, Michael?
All right, favourite story. My, again, too many options this week, but I figure that I like talking about pubs and Adam, you've worked in pubs, and Sean, you've put a lot of money into pubs. Obviously, not as an investor, but as a patron. There has been a boom in pub sales and listings recently. The Kingscliff Beach Hotel was one we talked about this week on the far north coast of New South Wales. It's going up for sale with an expected price tag of $100 million. Just incredible. The Oaks Hotel in Sydney up for sale for $175 million. That would be a national record. Plenty of other examples around of pubs either being listed or actually then selling for tens of millions of dollars. So it got me thinking, can you still get a pub for a decent price? If you just want to own your own pub and pull a few beers, can you still do it? So let me tell you about the Doodle Cooma Arms in the town of Henty.
Oh, here we go.
Regional New South Wales in the Riverina, about halfway between Albury and Wagga Wagga. Lovely little town. The Doodle Cooma Arms is the only pub in town, so you've got the entire market to yourself. You've got 12 accommodation rooms, a great beer garden, play equipment for the kids, a period dining room so you can cater for the whole town of Henty. It is up for sale.
How much?
Guess the price.
Oh, I'm going to downplay it. $5 million?
Oh, please. $870,000. So, there you go. You can still get yourself a pub for under $1 million. You can actually have a decent amount of change. If you've got your $1 million, you can go and invest in this cracking little pub in Henty.
Is it your favourite story because that's where you want to do it? That's what your life plan is?
No, it's actually I grew up in Henty, so every now and then I just head on to Domain and see what's available, and I saw the Doodle Cooma Arms is for sale, $870,000, bargain.
Doodle Cooma Arms. Maybe it could be a fear and greed spend. We could buy the Doodle Cooma Arms as a company,
even just for the name.
Yeah, no, Doodle Cooma Arms. I keep saying it. I love it.
It's great, isn't it? Anyway, look, that is my favourite story of the week, purely because it shows the range. I mean, you can have the Oaks Hotel for $175 million, or you can have, what would that be then, about 190 or 200 Doodle Cooma Arms for the same price. There you go. Sean, what's your favourite?
Oh, how do I compete with that, Michael? Really? Really? I will try, though. Mine is a story about the popular Thai YouTuber who allegedly cheated thousands of her followers to swindle about $55 million through a foreign exchange trading scam. Okay, pretty dull so far. Let's get into it. The YouTuber known as Nutty, first red flag, attracted more than 847,000 subscribers to a YouTube channel where she posted dance videos. Not for exchange videos, dance videos. Second red flag. She also advertised private courses for aspiring Forex traders on her Instagram account, notwithstanding she's a dancer. Third red flag. She posted unsubstantiated images of what she said were her profits. Fourth red flag. More than 6,000 people gave her money to invest, lured with promises of returns of as much as 35% on their investments. And guess what? They lost their money. The total absurdity of it all makes it by far my favourite story of the week, probably the month.
Adam, what do you reckon?
Okay, Nutty wins it in a narrow victory over the Doodle Cooma Arms. But who really would fall for a YouTuber called Nutty who's a dancer selling foreign exchange? I'm just dumbfounded.
I only did about 500 US myself.
So
what do you think I know about the story?
I'm just blown away by it still. So, Sean, you win this week with 3-1. If the point score comes into it, it was narrower than you might think. 85 points out of 100 to you, Sean, and 77 to Michael.
Oh, that's not narrow at all.
No, I call that a trouncing.
Drive a bloody truck through that.
What did Donald Trump say after beating Hillary Clinton? It was a landslide, even though, something like that.
I think what we all want to know, though, Adam, is what was the margin on the sleeper story this week?
Yeah, pretty big, 10 points.
Ouch. Yeah, I think I brought that one on myself. All right, well done, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you.
And make sure you're following the podcast and join us online as well on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. I'm Michael Thompson. Have a great weekend.